Stock management, the accounting point of view. Stock management is a vast topic in distribution as well as in manufacturing. We shall only make some general observation on stocks and stock turnover from an accounting viewpoint. We saw that the ratio called stock turnover shows us the efficiency in the use of stocks. So here we have a set of year-end documents covering 2 years. The year 2011 with an initial balance sheet, the income statement, ending balance sheet, and the year 2012 with the same type of figures. And here the calculation of the stock turnover. First of all, for 2011, the formula is COGS divided by the average stock figure. The COGS are 100 and 500, 600 minus 130, that's 470, divided by the average stock figure, which is 115. So that's 470 divided by 115, that's 4.1, that's the stock turnover this year. And the following year, the COGS are 130, that's 630 minus 50, 580, divided by the average stock figure, which here is 90. Stock turnover, 6.4. So we see a great improvement in the stock turnover. Of course, these figures have dramatic evolutions of the various ratios. They are only for explanation purposes. Ideally, we want low stocks with respect to COGS, i.e. a high turnover. Why? Because stocks, like every other asset, have to be financed. And yet we want to be able to serve demand whenever it comes. In the old days, say before World War II, and that is before the half-century of progressive computerization of firms that followed, high stocks were viewed as something good. Think of a general store in a village in some remote region which has everything. Plants also, in the era of Fordism, that is essentially the first half of the 20th century up to the 50s and a little bit of the 60s, used to have high stocks in every part needed in their manufacturing process. Toyota in the late 40s began to think about streamlining its supply chain, like supermarkets did. In car assembly plants, the Japanese introduced, mostly in the 70s, the just-in-time system, also called Kanban. That's a Japanese word. And the just-in-time system, JIT or JIT, consists in this: have little stocks next to each job position of the assembly line and have many daily shipments of parts from suppliers. Sometimes, of course, this is only a move of the stocks from the assembler to its suppliers. But the general trend in production over the last decades, in production as well as in distribution, is to have little stocks which turn a lot. For example, when we order a computer online, usually it is not yet in stocks anywhere, and yet we'll receive it a few days later. And think of the shops of the Zara chain. The garments on display are renewed twice a month or even more. These are illustrations of the new trend in stock management, which are economically more efficient. In stock management, the stocks are usually analyzed in several subsets with different turnovers. Category A has high turnover, Category B has medium turnover, and Category C a low turnover. Here we are entering the topic of stock management, which I will only gloss. And when we don't have turnover at all, in French we call these items rossignols, that is nightingales, because they sing at night on the shelves. In each category that we just saw, we can do some mathematical optimization to determine which average stock to keep, when to reorder, and what quantity. because total costs are a function of the frequency of reordering and of the so-called EOQ, that is economic ordering quantity. All this can be done and belong to the topic of stock management. But I would like also to stress one point, is that low stocks can also signal a problem. Not always, but we have to pay attention to that. The firm with low stocks and a high turnover may actually be selling its stock because it is running out of liquidities, and it can no longer pay for normal operations. So in conclusion, the ratio stock turnover, like all ratios, is crude and must be handled with care. Fundamentally, a significant increase in the stock turnover signals something, either better stock management or the selling off of assets.